Hey folks, welcome back. We're going to get going on some exhaust work on the car this time around. It's going to take a little doing. We got some pipes, some mufflers, some clamps. It's going to need some welding. Going to need some heating up and bending, some cutting, splicing, yada, yada, yada. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss this. All right, before we get into the exhaust, let me show you some of the stuff I've actually done on the car in the past few weeks. A lot of little things kind of got completed. You know, just little tiny stuff that, you don't want to bore people with on a long video, right? Because why? So let's take a quick peek around. Engine compartment is about done. Took a little time, new spark plugs. Took my plug wires and I shortened them to length so they fit nice. Popped them in the looms on the Formula S valve covers. They look nice. Factory original 4-way splits. That's all she wrote. Now, I'm gonna wait for slightly warmer weather. I have to take the coil bracket back out, paint it. I'm probably gonna do that wrinkle finish, just like the valve covers. For the time being, I plumbed the heater core direct, bypassed this valve, because these are like a 1/2 inch in size. These are 5/8. The hose is just kind of, didn't fit right. I wasn't happy with it. I was not going to get the air conditioning compressor on the car for the summer this year anyway. I left the bracket on there. So I decided to omit this for the time being, but I will probably, leave the vacuum lines connected for the diaphragm, because I still want to have all the vents inside functional. And I may actually run the AC lines up around this way, just because. Made a bracket for the fender well for the heater hoses. Got that on. What else? Oh, upper and lower hoses are on. We have coolant in. Brake fluid's done. Brakes are bled out. That's all set to go. I put some trim on the car. Got the mirror on, got this belt line trim here put on. Interior, all the interior panels are in, kick panels, all that stuff. The AC vent is in. I had to do a little trimming on the back side of the vent to get it to sit back in and then flush. That's all set to go too. The AC controls, they're in, they're done. I had to pop in a different vacuum control switch than the one I had. The one I had was in good shape, except the buttons were wicked sticky. Just happened to have another one on the shelf and pop that in and life is good. I have the vent loose a little bit right now because the one right side bolt for the steering column sticks down just enough where I need that vent loose, put the steering column in. Once that's tightened up, I'll tighten that up. Then the only thing we need to do is warmer weather. I'm going to spray the tops of the console so they look better. And we'll get those in. And then when Legendary finally gives me my seat covers, we'll get the seats done. Hopefully before summer hits. So what are we going to do with the exhaust? Well, what are we going to do with the exhaust? A couple things. Now I have a Y pipe that's in good shape. I have the resonator, which you know about. I already have the over the tail pipe, the over the axle pipe from Accurate Exhaust. I have a couple of mufflers that we're actually going to test later on in the video, but I don't have an intermediate pipe. And looking online at the two manufacturers that sell them pre-bent, it's like, really? That much? So we're going to try and cobble one together. It's going to require bending, cutting, splicing, and configurizing. So this fellow is going to use his MAP gas oxygen thing to maybe heat up and bend if we need to. And we'll have to grind a little, weld a little, make it all work. So let's get to it. So everything's just kind of tucked in here right now. I got the resonator sitting there. I'm going to have to trim the over the axle pipe back to get the resonator to fit back a little further. And that's fine. It's all the same pipe size. And that's about where I want the pipe to be, over the axle, the hanger. And everything is low on purpose right now, just to kind of get everything lined up where it's going to hang. And then I have this one other muffler here that's I may use on the car, I may not. We'll go over the mufflers later once I get the intermediate pipe done. But that just gave me an idea how the length is going to be for the intermediate pipe. Now this is going to come off. This is just the remnant of the intermediate pipe and just a turn down. Just if I wanted to run the engine for a longer period of time, I had something that wasn't blowing straight on the frame or whatnot. So we're going to take that off and start test fitting some pipe. All right, let's go over what I've kind of worked out here. So this is an original piece of the intermediate pipe. It's kind of cut off. And I have this adapter. It's going to go from 2 to 2.5, which I'll have to weld this onto the end of this one here. That's Walker 43297. And that's going to come out here like this and angle over toward the drive shaft. And then that one, 43697, slip on there and pretty much give me the right angle into the muffler. That's going to be almost perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this welded on straight. We'll try another test fit, but the difficulty here is this piece. Because I had to cut it. So I'm going to see about maybe fixing this piece up and reusing it. Let's see what we can make happen. What the hell, right? What's the worst I got to do? Buy a whole new part? Well, parts aren't cheap, people. All right, what I'm going to do to fix this pipe here, instead of trying to weld these up, I'm going to take this downturn, which is the same size, just kind of cut that off, cut it off here, and just kind of weld that on around. Yeah, fun. I think that came out pretty good. You know, for someone who's never actually really welded pipe before, I think I did a pretty damn good job. So I got this angled exactly how I want it. It's not going to hit on the cross member. Put a clamp up there on the Y pipe. I'm going to wire it up right here for the time being, like kind of where I want it, so that way I can figure out the next part. I'm going to try and fit that pipe on there and get it to angle into the muffler. So, yeah, we're almost there. Okay, here's what we're going to do. This angle here is what I need to get into the muffler. So I'm going to cut the pipe here. And then I'm going to cut the pipe here, take this piece and kind of weld it on here. That way this will slip into the muffler. Actually, no. This should slip into the muffler because this is supposed to fit over the other end of the pipe. This will fit inside the muffler. So I'm going to cut this here, test fit this into the end of the muffler. Hopefully it's good, right? And if it is, then we'll line this up back here to the other piece. And I might cut this off, put it over here to give me a slip joint that I can weld, or I might just directly weld this to the other pipe. We'll see. First thing, cut this and we'll test fit it. All right, here's where we're at now. So, cut that other pipe up, right? Welded the slip joint on over here. It's got the right angle going into the front of the muffler. It's got to be pushed back a little bit. We're pretty level for the most part. I'm digging it so far. Now, put a couple marks on here. Just gotta take it out, line them up, tack weld it up, and I think we're good. Nice. Well, there's the finished intermediate pipe. I mean, not too bad. Took me a few hours to get that done, a few cuts, a few welds. And yeah, I mean, we're stepping down from stepping up from 2-inch to 2.5. But you know what? I mean, the engine isn't really high performance, so I'm not worried about it being, you know, it's choked off right at the manifolds anyway, so coming down, opens up. Hey, we're just looking to get the exhaust out the back of the car, right? So please, no comments how, you know, it's a choke point, you should do this, you should do that. I know. It's okay. I'm living with it. It's all good. So let's test fit this back one more time, and maybe we'll get everything kind of snugged up, because we'll run the engine in, because I want to do a full test on the engine, let it warm up, come up to temp, make sure I got no leaks, and we'll run that through this muffler. Once I get this mounted up in there, I can then cut over the axle pipe to fit the resonator correctly, and we'll have it done. So let me finish that up, and we'll come back in a bit. All right, well, everything's all topped off. We've gone and run the engine through a couple of heat cycles, and everything seems to be running pretty well. So now that we got most of the exhaust done, time to test the mufflers. So right now I've got what looks like a factory stock muffler on it. Not straight through, it's chambered. So we're gonna give that one a shot with the resonator in place temporarily. See what that sounds like. Now I've warmed the car up a little bit now, so fire it up and see what this sounds like. Then we'll move on to one of the other mufflers I have. Not sure which one will go second, but we'll see how this one sounds. Hold on. Bad. Let's shut this off, let it cool off, swap mufflers, and try something else. I'm going to try this one next. I just did this one. That's the factory looking baffled chambered muffler. That would be, you know, nice and quiet. This one, yeah, not so chambered. Straight through. So let's see if we can get this one in there, and we'll see what that sounds like. this third muffler here, I have no idea what it is. There's no markings on it. It looks like it's polished stainless steel. And it was installed on a car at some point. You can tell it's got the clamp marks on it. And this it's almost a straight through. I mean, it's baffled, but you can see daylight kind of through there. So it's partially chambered, partially straight through. Problem is, I tried to get it on, and because of the crimps, and I don't have the tool to straighten this all out, I really couldn't get it on for a test. So I didn't test this one. I just didn't. So we're gonna leave it at that for today. Got basically a stock muffler, and I know this is probably a replacement muffler because of the inlet and the outlet are the correct size. It fits the accurate over the axle pipe perfectly, like it's supposed to. The Magnaflow and that stainless thing, it's a much larger size, and I had to cobble fab a bit of a connector to get it to, you know, flow. So which one do you like better? Hit me up in the comments. I think the Magnaflow sounds like a little deeper, but not much different than the factory chambered muffler. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go. Maybe I'll go with just the factory one. The engine's not high performance. It's not a full commando engine. It just kind of looks like it, you know. Just doesn't play one in real life. But in the future, the plans are to swap out the heads with some 273 heads, you know, closed chamber, smaller valves, probably flow a lot better, pop a cam in it, and, you know, boost the horsepower a little bit. So that's where we're at for today. Exhaust system's done. Cobble fab my intermediate pipe just like I liked, and I spent under $100 doing it. Go figure, right? So if you like what we're doing here on the channel, smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.